What's up, Scott Nation? This is Heath Dunkel with Tartan Talk, where each and every episode we take some time with a member of the Scots family and we have a conversation. Today with me now, the head coach of the women's soccer team, John Baker. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Heath. Great to be here.
I'm excited to spend some time with you, let our fans know a little bit more about you. The first thing I want to start off with, I think is just really a great way for us to kick this thing off, is tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, well, I'm originally from northeast England. Grew up playing soccer there, through the youth systems and everything like that for my school team, and played for a little semi-professional team for a while, and then got the opportunity to come to the United States to do coaching in the summer. So this was in the summer of 1993. Worked for a company that was based out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and they brought over British coaches, and we did summer camps all around, mainly in the southeast, but did do some up in New Jersey as well with them. So got to see quite a bit of the United States during that time, and I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it so much that I came back the next summer in '94, which was the year of the World Cup. The last time the World Cup was in the United States, which it's getting ready to be in the United States again next summer. So that's going to be a huge event here in this country.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I got to do that, and from that time I just said, wow, I saw the opportunities here. Soccer was just a growing sport, and the chances to be able to do something like that. So through some conversations with some folks that I met, some really good people, and ended up meeting the coach at Tennessee Wesleyan at the time, and got chatting with him, and wanted me to come, play and that sort of thing. And so long story short, that brought me to Tennessee Wesleyan in Athens, Tennessee. And ended up playing soccer there for 4 years, and then from there I came to Maryville.
So Tennessee Wesleyan, let's talk about that for a minute. Getting the opportunity to play there after playing overseas, now coming to the United States, playing at Tennessee Wesleyan. Talk to me about just maybe the difference in styles of soccer and how you had to adapt.
One of the big things that I had to adapt to that was kind of not really on my radar was just the heat. Obviously, you know what it's like in East Tennessee in August. It's pretty stifling, and that was a new thing for me. The style of play that I grew up playing in the UK, we'd just as cold a climate, so it was just a lot more, up and down tempo, that sort of thing, up and down the field, and you just couldn't play that style in the heat here. I'd never had to wear sunscreen to play soccer before till I came to Tennessee Wesleyan, so that was a new concept for me too. And then just learning things like hydration, that was not something that was really on our radar back then in the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember getting dehydrated at one of my games, just getting goosebumps, and it was 90 degrees. I'm like, yeah, that's not good during the game. And so learning to adapt to things like that, I think, was big. And then the other thing to adapt to was just how short the college season was. I mean, it's essentially 2.5 months, something like that, and whereas I'm used to like a 9-month season in England where it would be kind of year round. So just that condensed season, games were coming thick and fast, lots of times. So adjusting to that, and then adjusting to the climate as well.
Coach, one of the things you and I were talking about earlier, and I want you to talk about it a little bit now as well, when you talk about the difference in seasons from 9-month season to a 3-month season, and trying to jam pack a lot in, about why that can be really tough on someone's physical body, trying to get through a season like that, and really what that difference is like.
It's physically demanding, because when you look at the soccer game, I mean, it lasts for 90 minutes, so basically an hour and a half with one half time. There's not really many stops in the flow of the game, so the game is continuous. So most players, if you're playing the full game, they're running somewhere in the region of 6 to 8 miles a game, something like that. So the wear and tear on the body, when you think about the sprinting, the twisting, the turning, hitting into other people, hitting the ground, just things like that. It's a physically demanding game, and then just when the quick turnaround between games is tough. It's tough. It's one thing that we try to be mindful of for our athletes here, is that turnaround, and we're always try to be dead against back-to-back games, but we have to get them in order to get so many games in our season. Like we said, if we could just play a game every weekend, it'd be great, but there's not enough weekends in the season to just play only on weekends, so we do have to plug in some double-headed weekends early on, some midweek games, things like that, and it's a challenging part for our kids for sure.
When in between those games, when you have games so close to each other, are you looking to try to maybe your approach maybe changes when it comes to the in-between days, like maybe more mental preparation versus physical preparation, just allow them to recover some time, to maybe a little less time on the field, a little more time in the film room, so they can just recover and they can just focus, visually and mentally on some things they need to adapt to and prepare for?
Yeah, those recovery days have gotten quite important for us. Just those days when it's just you've got to do something. You can't go from like playing a game, high intensity work, and then just do completely nothing.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of work up that lactic acid and just even if it's just doing some foam rolling, some stretching, just something, or even going for a walk for that matter, just something to get active and to kind of work the kinks out a little bit. And so those recovery days are important, along with the hydration, the rest, getting a good night's sleep, all those things we talk about. The diet becomes so important. We stress that to our kids as much as we can. Yeah.
Now, Coach, after your time at Tennessee Wesleyan as a player, spent a season as a student coach, just continuing to work and grow in the game of soccer, and then you came here to Maryville. Talk to me about what led you here and why you ultimately chose to come here.
Okay, well, I had met Pepe my freshman year when I was at Tennessee Wesleyan. Because I was there as an international student, I wasn't able to go home in the summers a lot of times. So he ended up bringing me up here to work his camps when I was a freshman in college. And so I would come to Maryville every summer and work Pepe's camps for him and got to know him. And turns out Pepe's a Tennessee Wesleyan alum also. So not that we ever crossed paths in that part of it, but used to work his camps every summer and got to know him and vice versa. And then the opportunity came with the assistant coaching job opened up here when I was getting ready to graduate. So I was lucky to get into that position, and Pepe hired me from there, from getting to know me a little bit.
That's awesome. Well, you've had a lot of success here, and also you've been able to do a few other things as well. And one of those things is that you also are part of the coaching staff for the Olympic development team. So I want you to talk to me about how you got that opportunity, and then really kind of what some players maybe you've coached have been able to go on and do.
Yeah, so that was something I got involved with, a good many years ago now. It was probably best part of 20 years ago when I first got involved with it. And the program has evolved over the years. Initially, like back then, it was the be-all and end-all for youth soccer for a lot of times, because that was the main pathway to the youth national team for a lot of the youth players in the United States. When you talk to former national team players that have since retired and things like that, they'll talk about being on the Olympic development program, because then you would first of all, you would represent be selected for your state team. So you go through a tryout process and you'd select the state team, and then you would then compete against other teams in your region, and then you competed. The regions would compete against each other, and they would form like a national team kind of formed from that. So again, that's something I got involved in on the state level. Helping run tryouts, selecting teams, coaching state teams, taking them to the regional event when we would play as Tennessee against other states from the south. And then just getting kids that moved on into that. And we did have some kids. I was on the boys' side for a good number of years when I first started. And I had some really good local players from here that would do some really good kids out in Middle Tennessee that got involved and got selected, and some of them have gone on and have some professional careers and some things like that. And yeah, have done really well. And then I got involved on the women. I moved to the women's side for probably about my last 7 or 8 years, I think, with the program, and then was involved on the women's side after that point. And haven't been able to do a lot with the program the last few years, even though the director keeps telling me I need to come back and do some stuff. I'm trying to balance my time now between being a soccer dad and coaching our team here. So I'm trying to not miss as many as my daughter's games at all possible.
Well, I'm sure she appreciates that. Yeah. But you've got a very busy schedule, and you've had a lot of great coaches in your past that you've been able to learn from, and your own experience to be able to glean from as well. But the coach you've been with most recently, that you spent a lot of time under and learning from and developing, Coach Pepe Fernandez, what have you learned from him that you feel like has really prepared you for this moment now, taking over as the head coach?
Many things that I'm probably not even aware of. From day one, the one thing I really appreciated that Pepe always did with me he always treated me like we were just co-head coaches. It wasn't ever like he, was acted like I'm your superior or anything like that. He gave me freedom to do whatever I wanted, so that helped me grow as a coach. Really helped me grow. I was able to have obviously lots of input on anything related to the program, whether it be what colour uniforms we're going to purchase, as opposed to what we're going to do in practice today, team selection, anything related to that. And so he really treated me as his equal from day one, and helped me do many different things within the program like that. And one of the big things I think I've learned from Pepe is just how important the relationships are, the relationships that you have with your players, your former players, your alums and things like that. And I've gotten to meet so many people in the soccer community, especially in Tennessee, through Pepe, because he's got to know a lot of people himself. His dad was one of the pioneers of Tennessee soccer in its very early years. So he was a very well-known person in Tennessee, and Pepe's a very well-known person with soccer in Tennessee. And so I've gotten to meet many people through his connections and meeting some fantastic people, and how much time he has for everybody, which is tough, because when you've been here 35, 36 years, as long as he has, that's a lot of people that have come through the doors, and people that he's interacted with, and but just how he treats everybody has been something I've definitely learned.
Yeah, relationships are important. And then, like you talked about, some of the best leaders, I couldn't agree with you more, really know how to empower their people and then develop future leaders as well in what they do. So incredible coach, and we've got one right here with us now who's taking over and doing a great job. And so, Coach, I'll leave you with this final question. We asked Coach Fox this last time, and I want to ask you as well. But how do you do good on the largest possible scale?
I think it goes back to relationships. Like I said, like what I've learned from working with Pep and that sort of thing is just, I try to be accessible as possible for our players, and like them to know that, like, they know they can call me, text me whenever, and I'm always going to get back to them. I like to feel like I'm there for them if they need me. I'm not going to bug them, but at the same time, I like to feel like that part of it, the relationship part, is so important. I think that's even with our alums here, and I've tried my best to stay in touch with them even after they've graduated years. If it pops up on my phone, if it's their birthday, I'll shoot them a text, and just nothing more important. Just want to wish happy birthday today. And I just think that just staying connected with people, because I know myself, it's just nice to hear from people you haven't heard from in a while. And I like to think if I'm able to do that for them, it was great. One of our first games here, we had two of our former female players came to the game, and they brought their daughters to the game, which was awesome. And one of them I hadn't seen probably since she graduated, 20 years ago. But it was fantastic just to see her, meet her daughter, and nothing more than just to say hi and catch up. And I think that's something I try to do as best possible.
I think some of my fondest memories growing up and relationships that I still have to this day are thanks to some of the great coaches in my life who inspired me, who motivated me, and were just here for me. And I knew that no matter what, that I could reach out to them even long after they coached me, and that they were someone that I could talk to and I could lean on for wisdom and guidance. And they're very lucky to have a great coach like you, and we are as well. But Coach, that's awesome. I love your answer. I appreciate you.
The one thing I tell, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
no, you're good. Go ahead.
I was saying the one thing I always tell our kids is when you've graduated and everything like that, you don't remember the games or the results.
Yeah.
You remember the relationships that you've formed with your teammates and your coaches, and you'll remember the bus rides, and you'll remember that one overnight trip at a hotel or something like that. You won't remember what the score is of the game, but you'll remember the relationships. And
those memories and relationships that will last.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure. Awesome having you here on Tartan Talk, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks so much for watching.